This is Talk of the Town, a weekly program featuring community events happening in and around Northeast Michigan, with your host, Nancy Smitham, and the latest news from Alpena Community College with Dr. Olin Joynton. And now, today's Talk of the Town.
Good morning and welcome to Talk of the Town. My first two guests are both from Thunder Bay Theater. I have Pooja Tolton and Ty Cook. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Now, because you've not been here before, I'm going to start with you, Pooja, and I want to know about you, what brought you to Alpena, and your acting experience to date, and what's your favorite type of role?
Well, I'm from Central Virginia.
Okay.
I just graduated college last spring in North Carolina. And I met Kevin, the new artistic director, at Snow Camp Outdoor Theater. Kevin, this fall, asked me if I'd like to join him up here for Boeing. And I guess my favorite role, I like comedies a lot, which Boeing is. And Shakespeare's pretty great too. I'd do that anytime.
Wow. Very good. What about you, Ty?
Well, I recently graduated from Marshall University with a BFA in theater.
We are Marshall.
Yep, go Herd.
Okay.
And I met Kevin through, we did a production of Hatfields and McCoys at Theater West Virginia, and he called me and invited me up here. And my favorite role, I usually like the comedic trickster type character. Shakespeare is always fabulous. And I hate to steal your answer, but anything really comedic.
Okay. All right, Boeing. Now, I don't know much about Boeing, and I'm excited to hear about it. So who wants to start me out with Boeing?
I guess I will. It's a play about a man named Bernard who has 3 fiancées who are all air hostesses.
Ah.
And so, and then the whole play kind of revolves about him juggling, keeping his secret intact. And when and this takes place in the 60s when the Super Boeing came out. So all the planes are getting faster and faster. So all 3 fiancées are starting to, start to meet each other, and then, comic hijinks goes on, trying to keep the secret alive.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many characters are there?
There are 6 characters, 3 men. 1 man is playing a woman, and 3 women, the 3 fiancées.
Okay. All right. So what kind of a set do we have?
Well, we used parts of the set for Grey Gardens, the back wall, and then we've got, I believe, 7 doors, because, there's lots of doors slamming and trying to keep the fiancés from seeing each other and shoving people in the doors and all that sort of thing. So lots and lots of doors, and it's kind of got a 60s feel to it. There's a record player and rotating picture, which is pretty cool, so, yeah.
And who's playing the roles?
Well, Jeff Mendock is playing the main character, Bernard.
Okay.
I play Bernard's best friend, Robert, who kind of has to, he's introduced to this crazy world, and he's from Wisconsin, so he has no idea what's going on, so he learns how to deal with all the craziness.
Okay.
And I'm playing the Italian fiancée, Gabriella.
Okay.
And she's kind of this interesting character who's got one part of her personality, which is like this kind of baby, whiny, this sort of thing, and then like total firecracker, I will beat you with a bag if you mess with me. So she's pretty fun. And then we've got 2 other girls, like I said, and then Nick Hartman is playing Bertha, the grumpy French maid.
Okay.
And he looks fabulous in his costume. We saw it for the first time last night.
Okay.
So
He steals the show every time he walks out on stage.
Oh, yay, perfect.
yeah.
So what kind of, is it strong language? Is it for, what kind of an audience would we be looking for?
I would say it's PG-13, like I think maybe not young children, but there's no language. There's some foreign language. I think I say mio dio and mon Dieu and that sort of thing, but nothing that I wouldn't bring a teenager to.
Okay. And now, was this a Broadway production, or?
Yeah,
it was on Broadway in 2008, I believe.
Yeah, they just had a revival, which was very popular, actually, because it was written in '61.
Oh,
it was originally a French play, and then they translated it, and it was in London in '65, but then they revived it recently.
Ooh.
And there's a movie that came out in '65 starring Jerry Lewis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's very different, though,
Oh,
than
yeah,
the show. Yeah.
So on Broadway, who played the actors or actresses, do you remember? Or?
I don't know.
That's okay. It's not a test.
Oh, no.
Okay. So now, when can we come to Thunder Bay Theater and see this production?
It's
Opening-
from,
yeah,
opening's
opening night.
Thursday. And it's from October 17th to November 3rd,
Okay,
Thursday to Sunday.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
So come. see
Yes.
it.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Okay, and then next we're going to talk about Beauty and the Beast. And that's coming up, and you said it's a large production, and you need some volunteers, you need some stage hands. and-
Absolutely. We're always looking for interested volunteers, and we definitely need stagehands, and I think we would also be interested in performance roles, but I'm not for sure on that.
So Beauty and the Beast, tell me about how it's going to be adapted to the Thunder Bay Theater stage.
Well, we haven't heard anything.
Confirmed. But
Confirmed,
We've
yeah.
got a few ideas to where we have such a small set, and Beauty and the Beast is such a
Yes, that's what I was
grandiose
wondering.
production. So we're thinking of kind of using a minimalistic style with using projections for the backgrounds.
Ah,
So kind of a simple one stage equals all the
Perfect.
scenes
Yeah,
type thing.
and we're having to rent out all the costumes, a lot of the costumes for the the enchanted objects and
Oh,
Belle's
Belle,
costumes and
okay.
the
Yep.
Beast and that sort of thing. So the costumes I think are going to be pretty great.
oh, wonderful.
The Beast itself is a beast of a costume, so
Okay. And will you be using any local people for actors and actresses for this event?
Well, I know that Maurice, Belle's father, is
Okay.
a local. I know that the Insane Asylum guy, I don't know his name, he is a local. I know a lot of people are. A lot of,
hey, we've got a few locals who
Yay.
play like the baker, the librarian, roles
Okay.
like that.
Okay. And we're going to hear all that good music from Beauty and the Beast?
oh
Of
yeah,
course.
I think it's going to be in my head for the next year
Oh, yeah.
after.
Oh, I bet. Now, do you know what role you'll be playing?
Well, I'm actually going to be stage managing,
Okay.
so I'll be backstage keeping everyone in
Okay.
order and maybe helping with set changes.
And you haven't yet decided if you're staying?
There's a few things to decide, but if I do, I'd probably be a stagehand or an
Okay.
extra.
Okay.
So.
All right. Okay, we have just about enough time again to say when we can come to see Boeing, a wonderful comedy. Call, make your reservations, don't miss it.
It'll be from October 17th to November 3rd.
And showtimes are?
7:30, and then on Sundays it's at 2
2
p.m.
o'clock, yep.
So get some friends, go out to dinner first, go out to dinner after, go out to lunch first, go out to lunch after, come on down and see this wonderful production.
Absolutely.
Well, wonderful meeting both of you. Welcome to Alpena, and I hope you enjoy your stay.
Well,
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll be right back with some information and update on the Children's Advocacy Center following these messages. Hi, welcome back. My last guest today is Clint Boland from the Children's Advocacy Center. Hi, Clint.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing very well, thank
Good,
you.
good.
So update us on Children's Advocacy Center. What's going on since the
Sure.
last time you were here?
Good. We've been open now for 9 months.
Okay.
And over the course of that 9 months, we've served 64 children
Wow.
who have been suspected abuse neglect victims. And when I say support, we provide an interview service in cooperation with the prosecutor and law enforcement and DHS. And then we also have a victim advocate who, if the child has been confirmed as a victim, we support that child throughout the process and ensure that they have the services and support they need.
Wonderful.
And so it's a great program. It's what our project made as a priority, and it's up and running. So we're very happy about that. We also went through accreditation, which, to the viewers doesn't mean a lot, but to
oh
us,
boy, I know the paperwork that's involved with that.
yeah, it's a lot of paperwork, and what it means is we can access about $60,000 a year in standing grant money to keep the CAC running and afloat.
Wonderful.
So we're excited about that, and the Elkhorn Health Center staff just did a wonderful job on doing all that work, so very appreciative.
So now you have an actual center where families come in?
We do. It's not so much a drop-in center
Okay.
as it is scheduled interviews
Okay.
that occur, and usually it's a law enforcement agency or Department of Human Services will contact us and say, we'd like to have a child interviewed. And we've had contacts coming from Otsego County, Oscoda
Wow.
County, Presque Mount Morenci, Alpena, and so it's serving a lot of area and a lot of families throughout our region. And
So you're just like, you're like a go-to point.
yes,
Okay.
exactly. And the point, again, so that your viewers understand, is previously law enforcement might interview a child, then DHS might interview the child, then the prosecutor's office might. And throughout that, you're re-traumatizing the child. In addition,
Exactly.
your evidence would change because sometimes these kids are coached.
Sure.
And sometimes the stories, just as in nature of you and I might tell
Right,
somebody a
exactly.
story, and 2 days later, it's kind of the same story that we told. And so that kind of thing happens. So what we do is we get the prosecutor, DHS, law enforcement all in the room at the same time observing, and they are wired into the interviewer and can ask them questions to assist them in their investigation. And our trained interviewer, I won't say her name, but she's just fantastic, just wonderful with children, and just so pleased with everyone who's helping to do this.
Now, where do most referrals on child abuse come in?
Most of them come from Alpena County, and that's
Okay.
because we have a population of
Sure.
30,000 in relation to our other counties that have a third or less of the population. So most people come here. I would say that Alcona County actually led the way in this, and
Okay.
Dr. Jackie Fitzgerald and the team, Chris Baumgartner, et cetera, in Lincoln, because they set up their own interview facility and provided medical evaluations for kids in Alcona County. They are now serving, however, Iosco County as well. And so they've got a pretty big area they serve. Presque County has their interview facility that they generally use for most of their investigations, and that's coordinated with the prosecutor's office. So the areas in our region are active and actually preceded this centralized location. But we're finding that, again, most of the kids are coming from Alpena County. But we are the only facility, accredited facility in Northeast Michigan. So our aim is to spread out our services and to expand it into, for example, Roscommon County, Crawford County, Sheboygan County, and let agencies know that we're here to provide support to them. And we know this is a proven, well-researched, best practice way of dealing with child abuse and investigating it with minimal impact, if you will. I mean, there's a huge impact on children.
Oh, yes.
But we try to minimize the impact, and that's what we're about, is really loving these kids through this process.
And you know, child abuse takes on many forms, too.
Yes, it does.
It's not just, you know, slapping, hitting. I mean, you know, the mental abuse and the not feeding them correctly or making sure they're adequately clothed and all those things. Those are all forms of child abuse.
They are. And under code, I mean, those are all defined as abuse. And so, yes, it is broad. Generally, most of the cases that we see are sexual.
Okay.
That's unfortunately the truth of that matter. And we see a blend of both boys and girls.
Okay. All right, we have just about enough time now to talk about your fundraiser that's coming up. Very important.
Yeah, well, as I said, the CAC, their budget is about $120,000 a year. This new accreditation will allow us $60,000 a year. However, we have to make it up. And so one of the great things is both law enforcement and fire department has combined to support us by making us the beneficiary of the Pigs in Heat game coming up November 2nd. 6 p.m. at the Northern Lights Arena. You can buy tickets in front of Walmart on October 25th, 26th, or at Northern Lights Arena. And they're very inexpensive. When you buy those tickets, they go into a raffle, and we'll have a drawing for some great prizes, all kinds of wonderful gifts from our wonderful partners in our community.
You know, and kudos to the fire department and the city police. They do this every year, and they pick a different group or an organization to be the beneficiary, and it's a wonderful event. So if you've never been to one, it's a lot of fun, just an enjoyable thing. You know, see them before, see them after, plus the money always goes to a wonderful organization.
Yes, and you know, and I just would be remiss if I didn't point out that we've invited all fire agencies and all law enforcement agencies in the 4-county area to participate and play on the teams.
Oh, that should be interesting.
Yeah, so we've got a good blend. So whether you live in Lincoln, Harrisville, or Rogers City, or Atlanta, you are more than welcome, and you will enjoy this free event.
Okay.
And it is free. So it's a great family night event, and it's a great opportunity for your viewers to support the CAC, and this money goes to paying for the interviewers and the victim advocates exclusively. None of the money goes for rent, heat, administration, nothing. It goes directly to fund those two key positions.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so this is a wonderful direct way to support children who are abused.
Okay, we're out of time. A phone number where we can contact you for more information.
For more information, call 989-340-0960. To report child abuse, call 855-444-3711.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Please stay tuned for Dr. Olin Joynton following these messages.
Good morning. I am Jay Walterwright, Director of Public Information and Marketing for Alpena Community College, and this is the ACC portion of Talk of the Town. With me this morning is ACC student Tyler Nichols. Tyler, welcome.
Thank you, Jay. Good morning.
Good morning. So why don't you start by telling our viewers what you're doing at ACC right now?
I'm currently enrolled in the auto service program at ACC, and my goal is to get my master's mechanics certificate along with my associate's degree in applied science.
Great, great, great. We were talking a little bit earlier, and you said that you came to ACC through an interesting course. Would you like to talk a little bit about that?
Well, certainly. In my late teens, I quit school to go to work full-time, and I spent 10 years in road construction, and which was a great job, but a decade of that has changed me in ways, and of course years have also changed me to realize I'd like to do other things. And I've always enjoyed auto mechanics, and so about a year and a half ago I got my GED through ACES Academy here in Alpena, and at the time my girlfriend was going to ACC for the nursing program. So we just kind of decided that I should pursue my education as well and complete things that I should have completed years ago. And kind of a self-fulfilling dream of mine that I missed out on many years ago through choices that I made. So Alpena and ACC has been very accommodating in helping me achieve my goals.
Oh, great. What was it like to go into your first class after being out of school for so long?
It was different. Certainly computers are a much bigger part of school today than what it was when I was last there. You know, being in a classroom setting was a big change, again, from the world of road construction to the classroom setting is black and white. So it's been a wonderful experience, though, and I find the challenges very exciting.
Good.
Very exciting.
Good. So what attracted you to the auto service program?
Well, in whatever spare time that I did have, I've always enjoyed automobiles, parts and pieces, how they interact with each other, and I've always found myself working on cars. And to have a job that you really enjoy, it kind of takes the work out of things. So you know, if you can go to work and enjoy what you're doing, you know, I think that would be a much better life pursuit. And the road construction aspect, you know, it was a job. You know, long days in the sun and really very little spare time. And I think that pursuing a hobby that I enjoy, you know, and making a career out of that is where I'm trying to go with things.
That's a great idea.
Enjoy getting up to go to work.
Sure, sure. Well, speaking of what you're doing, can you describe a little bit of what your classes are like right now?
Well, this semester we are dealing with suspension and steering, brakes, of course automotive fundamentals, and we also have a hands-on in the lab setting where the community can bring their vehicles to us, and we get a variety of things, from diagnostics to, you know, wheel bearings, brake jobs, things like that. So the classroom setting is very specific in what we learn. The lab setting can vary greatly from, you know, exactly what we're learning in the classroom setting or something we haven't even discussed yet. So we are exposed to a very large variety.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit more. Sure. You said that you work on cars that come in from the public, right?
Certainly, yeah.
Why don't you tell our viewers a little bit about that? I know that on occasion I make a public announcement urging the public to bring their cars in. Tell them why that's important and what happens.
Well, it's a wonderful asset, really, for the community and for the students. We can provide the service, at a much cheaper rate, if you will, than a traditional repair facility. There's no labor charges, really, so the only thing that the customer is charged is parts. The only understanding that they need to be aware of is that we are students, and some things do take longer. So, they might need to wait a little bit longer for the vehicle. But our instructor, Mr. Eastwood, is right there with us all the time, so, I think that they could have full confidence that the job will be done correctly. We certainly can't handle all repairs, but we have many diagnostic capabilities, and of course a well-educated man looking over our shoulder to make sure things are done correctly.
Well, great. You and I were talking earlier, and we talked about how it's not so much mechanics anymore, it's more technicians. Why don't you explain to our viewers what we mean by that?
Well, certainly the day of the mechanic, I think, is kind of gone by the wayside. With technology, of course, involved in every aspect of life now, our automobiles are right up there with it. Sensors and switches, and really your whole car now is controlled by electronics. From wheel speed sensors, there's electronic power steering now, so the day of the pump and the power steering fluid might be on its way out. So you really have to have a good understanding of electricity and resistance and different things, and what controls what, and many computers communicating with each other. So yeah, the day of replacing spark plug wires and things like that in a general tune-up are pretty much gone. Really, just about everything is controlled by computers, and as we work into the future, we hear in the industry many things that are changing. Of course, full electronic cars will be coming out, so the internal combustion motor, as we know it, could very well disappear, in the future. So it's evolving industry, certainly, and the technical skills needed to not only fix the cars but diagnose the problems are certainly more significant today than what they were even 10 years ago.
So just to follow up on that, and just so I can encourage our viewers, if you have a vehicle that has some troubles, you're encouraged to think about taking it to the ACC Auto Service Department, where students like Tyler will take a look at it, see what they can do to fix it. They won't charge you labor, just the cost of the parts.
That's right.
And the students get a great learning opportunity because they have to figure out what's going on. And hopefully you, the public, gets a chance to have your auto serviced in a professional way, and everybody benefits. So that's my plug for that program. I told Pete I would do that. So Tyler, anything else that you want to talk about in your classes?
Well, we have a great bunch of guys. It's been a wonderful atmosphere. Of course, the lab setting is far beyond what I expected. With our diagnostics equipment and our tool room, full of tools, it is certainly what I would consider a full, capable service area, with all of the tools that we have at hand. And that's a huge part of the education, as well as just learning tools.
All right, well, thank you very much, Tyler. That's all our time.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for joining me.
Certainly.
And thank you for joining me. Once again, I am Jay Walterite, Director of Public Information and Marketing for Alpena Community College, and this is Talk of the Town.
This has been Talk of the Town with Nancy Smitham and Dr. Olin Joynton. For a list of events taking place in Northeast Michigan, visit our website at wbkb11.com and click on Community. This has been a Thunder Bay Broadcasting Corporation production.